What's going on YouTube? Lou here from MCC, Licensed Massage Therapist and Certified Personal Trainer. And I'm just trying to set up my camera. And today, I got a very, very special video for you. And I titled it, I wrote it down. Why do people ignore you when you speak? Does that excite you? Why do people ignore you when you speak? All right, so I broke it down to 5 reasons why people ignore you when you speak. But you know, the reason why I'm creating this video is, for me, being social is a freaking skill, right? It definitely is a skill, and I'm naturally introverted. My natural personality is I am afraid to speak to people. So the fact that I've been quarantined, I'm still in New York City and quarantine, and New York is still in quarantine. I haven't been social for the last 2 months and some change, and the only people I've spoken to is my girlfriend and my family. So for me, I'm making this video as a reminder for myself, and also, you know, for, you know, speaking to the camera is, how do I not get ignored when people click on my video, if you even get that far. So these are the reasons why I'm making this video. So what's the first thing? Why do people ignore you when you speak? The first reason, believe it or not, is super obvious, but not so obvious to people, is one, you don't have their attention. Whoever it is you're speaking to, if they're ignoring you, obviously you do not have their attention. And I see this all the time, particularly, I don't like to call out my girlfriend, but when my girlfriend speaks to me sometimes I'm involved in something else and I'm not paying attention to her, but yet she'll continue to speak. And I often do that with her when I'm lecturing her. I can see she starts to doze off, but this is something that's really, really crucial to not be ignored when you're speaking. Now, I understand that, you know, the average human attention span is only 10 seconds. So I can already see that I'm 2 minutes into this video. A lot of people who ever click this video are already clicking off if I didn't get their attention right away, okay? And the fact that, you know, my scenery is the same all the time, this might not be the most attention thing where people are like, oh, look at the scenery. I don't have the scenery to keep people's attention. So what I'm trying to do now is trying to presuppose that this is gonna be an amazing video. So you must have their attention, right? Now, how do you get their attention? One, the easiest way is to simply stop speaking when they're not listening to you, when they're looking around. Because the moment you do that, I do this with my girlfriend too, all the time, is whenever I see that she's not paying attention, I just stop speaking. And usually, once they hear the silence, they'll redirect their eyes towards you. So that's one way. Another way to do it is simply just ask for it. Hey, can you listen to me for a second? Hey, you know, John, or as my girlfriend, hey, Ebbs, can you listen to me for a second? I got something I really want to tell you, okay? That's another thing you could do, is presuppose whatever you're about to say is gonna be interesting. So you know, for me, if I would have started this video off with, you know, what's going on YouTube, like, I have this amazing video for you. It's gonna be super powerful. It's gonna be life-changing. By presupposing that this video is gonna be great, it's gonna get their attention. So that's number one. You must have attention, okay? The second reason people ignore you. Now, once you get their attention, the next thing you must do, if you don't already have it, is get rapport with the other person. Now, what's rapport? Rapport is just commonality, trust, right? Now, what tends to happen in relationships with me and my girlfriend's situation is we both love each other very, very much, and we have rapport. We have commonality, right? Obviously, if we're living together. But what we both must remember is rapport is not a constant. What do I mean by that? Rapport is just moment to moment. So for instance, if you're a salesman like me, I sell personal training for a living, right? And I might give you an amazing session. I have your attention. I'm talking to you about the benefits, the features, what you're gonna get out of it. A lot of times, as soon as I bring up the price, and it could be a bit pricey, you could see in their face rapport is broken. So for me to assume that rapport is a constant, it hurts me. So once I realize rapport is broken, I must regain rapport, okay? So what I want to talk about next is how to get rapport and how to keep rapport if that was to happen. The simplest way, believe it or not, and I'm pretty, you know, I teach a lot of trainers and people just don't know this, is in rapport, a lot of it is nonverbal. So what you should be doing is a technique called matching and mirroring. So what matching and mirroring is basically whatever they do, whatever energy they give off, you give off. So for instance, if I'm speaking to a potential client, a prospect, and they're sitting back, should I be this close to them in their face, leaning over them? No, I should be sitting back too. If they're leaning forward, I lean forward. If they tilt their head, I tilt my head. Now, the key here is 1, don't freaking get caught. 2, you should, and to not get caught, there should be a delay. So meaning if they're leaning forward and then they lean back. So say I'm telling them all the benefits and features and they're excited about, you know, personal training, and then I present them the price and they lean back, I'll lean back to a half second later. Maybe a little bit more than a half second, okay? So that's one way to get rapport. Now what this does is, believe it or not, this matches up our nervous system. So when I'm matching or mirroring the person, what's going on with our brains, we have something called mirror neurons, which means I feel whatever they feel and they feel whatever I feel. And it's pretty wild, right? Another amazing technique to mirroring too is mirroring back whatever it is they say to you. So what do I mean by that? It's basically like, it's called the echo technique, where basically you just repeat back the last 3 words they say. So for instance, if I'm talking to my girlfriend, or she's talking to me and she says something like, I had a you know, amazing meal yesterday. I might go, amazing meal yesterday? And she'd be like, yeah, you know, I went to this restaurant, da da da, and whatever. And then she says something again. She says, and I really enjoyed the company. And I'm going, enjoyed the company? And she'd be like, yeah, that, believe it or not, that builds rapport tremendously. Now, when I first learned about this technique, I learned about this technique in a book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. It's a negotiation book. I did not think it was gonna work. And I had this fear of mirroring people because what I thought was if I did it, I would get caught. But if you say it with a sense of curiosity, it never happens. People are so involved in their own thought process that they don't even realize what you're doing. So that's a way to get rapport, okay? So you must have attention. You must have rapport. The third reason why people ignore you, what I wrote down, was you're not enthusiastic or passionate about what you're speaking. Or you don't perceive to be enthusiastic or passionate about it. Because you might love what you're talking about, but you're afraid to express your passion or your energy because you don't want to come off as too much. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to speak to the camera with enthusiasm. I'm excited about making this video. And even though I'm nervous, because for those of you guys that know, I'm still new to YouTube, I'm still a little uncomfortable speaking to the camera, but I'm hoping my passion comes. So whatever you're speaking about, you have to be interested in what you're speaking about. Because again, what I said earlier is whatever I feel, they feel. So if you feel right now that I'm a little nervous, you probably could see that I'm a little nervous making this video because I'm still uncomfortable with making YouTube videos. You as the watcher might feel a little uncomfortable. But you also might feel that I'm more so enthusiastic, so that might transfer over. So again, whatever I'm saying and speaking about, if I'm speaking with crazy amounts of enthusiasm, they are going to feel that. Now, enthusiasm. What do I mean by this? I don't mean that over the top shit. I hope I'm not coming off as try-hard, meaning, oh my God, this video is gonna be amazing because after this video, you're not gonna be fucking ignored. No, you could speak with enthusiasm with a whisper. It's like a bottled up enthusiasm. So I'm like, you know, after this video, you're gonna be so amazed how you'll never be ignored again. And people will pay attention to you every single time you speak. So right there, I'm speaking with enthusiasm, even though it's a whisper. And again, it's bottled up, it's coming from the gut. It's what I'm saying right now is the shit. And I truly believe it. Regardless if I'm loud, you know, whispering, my energy is transferring to you. Okay? So that's number 3. The fourth thing, reason why people ignore you when you speak is whatever you're speaking about, you're not speaking with certainty. Now for me, I might be getting ignored right now when I'm speaking to the camera because it's still very, very new to me. But practicing speaking with certainty and conviction is very, very powerful. And again, it's transferable. So when I talk about personal training and I'm selling training to somebody, I'm super, super passionate about it. I'm super, super certain that I know whoever I'm talking to, I could help. I could transform their fucking life. Now, I have this saying, and I usually say this to the person I'm trying to sell training to is, look, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I don't need you to believe in what I'm saying. I really don't. Because you just met me. You don't know me very well. I don't need you to believe me. You know, I understand that you can't trust me yet. You just met me an hour ago. But what I'm hoping to convey to you is I believe in what I'm saying. So I don't need you to believe in what I'm saying. I need you to believe that I believe in what I'm saying. And when you speak with that much certainty, it's transferable. And I can't tell you how many sales I get just because I'm so certain. And you know, I do have a couple of cool lines. Like, you know, one of the lines I use is like, look, Mr. Jones, just give me 1% of your trust and I will earn the other 99% over the course of the next month. I guarantee you. And this is a practice. Comes through repetition. Now this is, I believe this is only gonna be my 5th or 6th video on YouTube. So it might not be coming across that to the camera yet. But when I'm training people, that shit comes off. So you must speak whatever it is you're speaking about with fucking certainty, okay? And then the fifth thing that I wrote down is, the reason why people ignore you is because they're familiar with what you're saying, or they already know what you're about to say. Now, what do I mean by that? We as human beings, once we believe we know something about a topic, we start to delete everything else. So if I'm talking to you about training and how much weight you could lose, and you already know everything I'm about to say because of, you know, you've Googled the information. I'm basically telling you stuff that's on Google. You'll start to zone out. Okay, so that's one way we familiarize stuff is through information. So my question to you is, do you think me as a trainer who's pretty good at selling it could keep your attention about information you already know I'm gonna say? And the answer is, believe it or not, yes. Now, what I mean by familiarize is, yes, there's information where if I'm giving you information to familiarize, if I switch up my tone where I start speaking with such fucking intensity and I know this is gonna change your fucking life, in 3 months you'll be surprised how far you've came, and believe me, the only thing you're gonna wish is you would have did it a whole lot sooner at the beginning of the year before this COVID-19 happened. Right? If I change up my tone, right, this will keep a person's attention. If I change up my gestures, if I'm always changing up my body, and also my fucking facial expressions, you will keep the person's attention. So, what is a way to practice this, all right? One, the enthusiasm and certainty, what I like to do is I like to pick up random objects that I'm not passionate about, like a fucking fork, and I might say, this is the best fucking fork on the planet. The reason why is I used it. And for those of you who don't know, that my spit and saliva is amazing, and the fact that there's still crust on it means it's fucking proven to fucking work. Like, I mean, this is some bullshit, but what I'm saying is, I'll speak with enthusiasm and certainty about random objects, and I'll practice it for 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, so that's one way to practice certainty and enthusiasm. Now, the information part, you can't do much. If they already know the information, you know, these days people are smart because we have Google, they could Google everything, right? You have to practice speaking with different type of tonalities, different type of gestures, all right? Different, you know, facial expressions. So what I like to do is, again, practice it. So I might start off with a whisper about how this video is going to change your life. And as the video continues to go on, I'll start speaking with more and more intensity. And this is gonna be a really transformative video, okay? And then I'll start to lower it back down. I'll play with the tonality, going up and down, up and down. Another thing I might do is mess around with my facial expressions. I might try to talk to you with a smile the whole time. And I might try to make funny faces while I'm speaking. Or I might, you know, my favorite speakers are like people like Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Tony Robbins. I might try to imitate them. And by doing that, moving my body around, it's really going to, you know, what I'm doing here is I'm exercising it. I'm working it out to its full capacity that when I'm speaking regularly, it comes more genuine. So like, you know, one of the exercises I do, I'll put on music and I'll try to do a video while I'm doing all of this. And I'll try to like do some weird gestures and try to speak normal, right? And the idea is like, I'm never gonna do this when I'm speaking to somebody, but the fact is, by exercising it, I have the ability to do it naturally. It'll start to naturally come up. Or if you're a low speaker, start speaking really freaking loud all the time in practice. Like right now, the camera I have is called Canon and Sunpack, and I have a nice little boost thing, and I have a kettlebell right here. That way when I speak regular, my voice will be no longer lower. I exercise it to its full range of motion. And the same thing with your face. If your face is always the same face, people are gonna zone out. They're gonna familiarize your face, your tonality, and your gestures, and they're gonna categorize it and they're gonna zone out. And that's really, really important, especially if you're pitching information or you're talking about stuff they already know. Okay, guys? So try these exercises, which is one, speaking to the camera with enthusiasm and certainty, and also exercise your gestures, your facial expressions, and your tonality, and mix it up through full ranges of motion. And I promise you, you'll never, never be ignored again. No, I'm lying. You have to practice, okay? But it'll tremendously increase, you know, how many people actually pay attention to you. And I'm trying to do my best with this. I'm trying to be as authentic as possible with this camera. You know, talking to you guys, I'm trying my best to never edit it, meaning I don't want to cut it up, because I really want this to come from the heart. And I'm placing a lot of stress on myself to keep your attention, and I can see it's been about a 17-minute video. So hopefully I did a good job. If you did like the video, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. I don't care as long as I have your attention, if you made it through this far. But again, subscribe. I'm getting better and more certain about asking you guys to subscribe, because I hope you see that I'm getting better day by day in every way. I am getting better and better. And guess what? We are too. See you guys.